Okay, I saw you highlight bad dad jokes. I was like, oh my goodness.
Not
Uh,
yet.
uh, all right, Joe. You seem to be having some parental issues. You brought up multiple weeks. How when they don't want to listen, how to make them listen. And you're like, how do I enforce good behavior? You feed them candy when they do good, and you shock them with the shock collar when they do bad, just like dogs.
Wow. All right. I guess we can move on to the next
Next.
segment.
I was just gonna say with a switch from the tree in the backyard.
So the how do I reinforce positive behavior? So I it's very natural for people to punish bad behavior, but it, at least in my experience, it doesn't come as naturally to reinforce positive behavior. And so I thought it would be a good discussion on different ways that you have gone about reinforcing positive behavior. For Charles, it's all about the candy.
Oh,
You
not me. I
know,
don't like candy. But sometimes with
no,
the
no,
kids,
no,
you gotta give them a little
the
dog treat.
kids.
Actually, it's dog treats. I just called it candy.
He's like, there's a reason why I got a full shopping cart of Little Debbie's, because when they're good, I just throw it at their face.
No.
Oatmeal
When I
cream
leave
pie to the
for the
face.
weekend, that's their food to survive on. Is the Little Debbie rations. It's like Last of
Because he
Us.
doesn't have to worry
Meets,
about them spoiling.
yeah, it's the Last of Us meets diabetes. It's all right. So, all right, Joe. What do you do? How do you reinforce?
Um, just praise, it goes a long way. So like for instance, this past week, my middle child, he had a play, his end of school year play for his drama class, and we saw the entire time how much effort he had put into it. And so we talked about how proud we were of all of the effort he had put into memorizing his lines, making sure he knew what lines were coming up before him, what different actions he needed to take on the stage, and things like that. He got really into it. And so we were very supportive of it. Um, and we had already talked budget with our boys about classes that they wanted to do next year. This is a homeschool academy where you can sign up for electives. So we let them choose a couple of electives every year within reason, within the budget. And so he was asking us after 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, he was like, look, I really want to do drama next year. And it wasn't one of the ones that we had already worked into the budget because it wasn't one that he was sure that he wanted to continue. But after this positive experience, he really wanted to take drama again. And we went out of our way to tell him, because we saw all of the effort that he put in this year on the play and things like that, that we were more willing to pay for this drama class next year. And so I think that is a great way to show positive reinforcement through words and actions, ultimately through our wallet. But to show to praise the effort that was put in. And another reason why this has been on my mind lately is I saw a short the other day about a parent who was going through something similar, where his I think it was a daughter in this instance, where she had been training to join a swim team. She was pretty young, and she ended up being the youngest one to make the team. And she asked the dad, she's like, "Are you proud of me for making the team?" And I really loved the way, at least in the short, how he said he responded, because he didn't want to reinforce the outcome, because a lot of times outcomes are not in our control.
Awesome.
Right.
And so he reinforced her effort and that she gave it her all. And so I really liked that mentality of reinforcing our kids trying their hardest and doing their best, and heaping on praise or accolades or rewards because of that effort, even though the outcome is not always the outcome at some point will not be what they want. And having that mentality of rewarding the effort goes a long way, because you don't want your child's self-worth to be wrapped up in outcomes.
Well, and so much of the time it is, right? I mean, it's the trap is setting your goals and accomplishments based on outcome, not action.
Yeah, for me, that's it. I actually read a study. I think I talked about it on one of their shows at some point. A study a couple years ago about students, and the study proved what both of you just said, is that one group A was praise the efforts, the other group B was praise the outcome, and it even with the group B, when they got good grades, the value was less, right? They didn't feel like they did a good job, even though they got the grades. Whereas group A, who maybe didn't get the grades, felt much better about it because they were. And I've applied it, to my middle kid. We've used different versions, but the short version for me is there is a whole lot of weight to do two things in your household. One is to sit down with them, eye contact, and talk to him and make it, hey, no, this is serious. What you did there was good, and you didn't. It just does something. Any human being. She started out young, so I tried that with my kids. The other thing is, I also, even if my wife didn't realize it, I still produce a show inside of my house sometimes, because when we're bragging on ourselves or we're talking about this awesome thing that happened or coming back from a con, and we're talking about, oh man, this person did great, this person did great, this person did great. You're telling stories, and so in my household, that's almost a ring of honor. Like when we talk about somebody did something great, told a story of what they did, we do that also in our house. So whatever it is in your house that you can step back and go, oh, I see what we do here, include the kid on it. So I will, like last night, I took Rylan to a show I had to do, and he was helpful. And in the past, I would have waited till today. Now, we did a great thing last night. It was not that big of a deal. He's 13. He's done more of it. But in the past, had it been new, today, when he saw his uncle and his mother and maybe his grandfather, I would be like, oh, hey, did you tell him? Did you tell him that you went with me last night? Man, let me tell you, he did this, just like if, I was at Dragon Con talking about somebody doing something amazing there. And that seems to help a lot, reinforce some of that good behavior.
Yeah, we often have opportunities that can actually even strengthen it more. They're like, let's just take the play situation. Certainly the play was amazing. I'm so proud of you. Carries less weight than, man, you worked your butt off working on that play, and that's great. That I'm so proud of you for that. That carries more weight. There are opportunities to actually even take it back at a higher level as well, and things like what your mother and I really admire about you is no matter what you put your mind to, you throw your whole self into it. And like the play as an example, but it's not limited to that play, right? And so not only does it reinforce pride in the work, but pride in all of the work, because what that may bleed over into, it might only be the play right now, but that might bleed over into the next endeavor, which isn't related whatsoever, because they're getting that positive reinforcement of that whatever you put your mind to, you tend to give it your all and really commit to it. And I find that admirable. And heck, I wish I was dedicated like that. Even things like that, right? It's just because that builds up their whole self, not just this one little aspect of it. And I'm not saying you did anything wrong at all. Yeah. I'm just saying,
right?
It's nice to be able to find some opportunities to actually take it even back a step and look at it more globally, and perhaps they're not as dedicated in other areas, but maybe they will be, right? Once we try to build up the whole thing. So
I use a little bit of guilt too. Like I've talked to Zoe, my youngest, and said, for the love of God, graduate high school. Be the first in your siblings to graduate, because who knows what Riley's going to do. But come on, you're killing me. Your sister's killing me. Your brother's killing me. I just playing that little bit of that guilt, a little bit of that church guilt on her to say, you got to make daddy happy and graduate. Okay, be the one. But I also think
1 out of 4, great odds.
we should help Steven start a daddy summer camp for dads. Because look at this. I like to give him specifics about exactly what I liked about his behavior. He seems to respond to that. Yeah, 100%. So we need 2 weeks of Steven Daddy Camp. First week is you bring just the dads in, and then the second week you bring the kids in, and he gets to help you practice all that with the kids. I would help you arrange that so I never have to pay to go, and then we can both make money on it.
And then Friday is trade night.
Yeah. He's not talking about Pokemon cards, kids.